Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video we'll be talking about Chris Rodriguez and how I think he can be an added offensive weapon for the Washington Commanders. And I have a take that I don't know if a lot of you guys are going to agree with, but stay tuned for that. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. Trying to hit 14,500 subscribers by the end of the year. We're less than 100 away. We got 2 days. Let's try to hit it. It takes 1 second. It's free, but let's get into it. So I know everyone's talking about Jaden Daniels, and rightfully so. He had a great game yesterday. He carried this team on his back. Him, Zach Ertz, Zacchaeus, on the offensive side of the ball, and the defensive guys stepped up for the most part in the second half, besides that one possession at the end of the game. So we'll have time to talk about Jaden Daniels, but I wanted to talk about Chris Rodriguez for a second and how I think he might deserve the RB1 role over Brian Robinson. I know that's a crazy take that a lot of people might not agree with, but Chris Rodriguez has come in and done a really good job for the Washington Commanders when he's gotten his playing time. I'll show you guys some stats, but he actually is one of the most efficient backs in all of football, which is crazy to say. It's a small sample size, of course, but you look at him, he had 5 carries, 16 yards, 3.2 yards a carry, so it doesn't seem insane, but a lot of those were short yardage situations, and even the touchdown he had, I don't know how long it was, maybe 3 yards, but he got hit in the backfield right away by AJ Terrell. So he broke that tackle and got a touchdown. That was a great, not catch. We'll talk about that in a second, but that was a great touchdown run by him and was huge in that game. And then he had one catch for 12 yards. I think in my video yesterday, post-game video, which you guys should check out, my raw reaction and just craziness after the game. But I think I said it was like on a third down, but he caught it on like a 2nd and 6, I believe. I watched back the highlights and stuff. Just had to watch back that drive, the last few drives, and that was a big play. He hurdled the guy and got a extra yard. Didn't really get hit, so that was a huge play by him. So in total, he didn't have a crazy game, but he had 27 or 28 total yards in this game and a touchdown. But I really think he is better. He might be better than Brian Robinson. And I know Brian Robinson had a good game, 13 carries, 60 yards, but I don't know. I just felt like a lot of the carries, he was getting stuffed for 1 yard, 2 yards, and not saying that it was blocked well up front, but I think Chris Rodriguez would have gotten a little bit more with the carries that Robinson got if he got that opportunity. A couple of the runs that Robinson had that were big runs were schemed up really well for him. You look at some of the stats right here. So he has 35 attempts. This is from Nick Ackridge, PFF. Got to take it with a grain of salt, but still, I think this matches the eye test. He has a 90.1 run grade, 6th in the NFL, 3.91 yards after contact per attempt. That is 3rd in the NFL, and zero point 0.4 missed tackles forced per attempt, 2nd. Tiny sample size, but this is insane efficiency. That is, those are crazy numbers. And again, it's a very, very small sample size, only 35 carries. But I think they need to start giving him more carries because Robinson, I'm sorry, I just haven't been really impressed with him. Last week, he had 2 fumbles, and fumbling hasn't been an issue, but that, in the Eagles game it was and would have been one of the main reasons they lost that game. So, and he just hasn't been explosive. I don't know. I haven't been really impressed with Robinson, and hasn't done a lot as a pass catching back. Sorry for the stutter like 4 times, but he hasn't been a great pass catching back this year like he was last year. And when Eckler comes back, I would honestly, you don't have to totally take him out of the offense because he still is a solid running back at times, but feed the hot hand. If he's doing well, go ahead, give it to him. But if you put Chris Rodriguez in there and he has a nice carry or 2 for 5-6 yards, I would say keep him in and keep giving him the ball. And I think yesterday, him showing his pass catching ability as well, making that catch and also the hurdle was huge. That was huge. And he continues to do that. That'll be good for the Commanders. And I think they should give him more carries. I mean, he had 5 carries in the game. I think that needs to happen every game, even when Eckler comes back. They had 36 rushes in this game. 1 McNichols, 5 to Chris Rodriguez, and 13 to Robinson. I think you can give, normally Jaden Daniels isn't going to have 16 carries in a game, probably like 6, 7, right? And then Robinson usually has more, but I would give some of those to Chris Rodriguez and see what he can do with it. I think Chris Rodriguez can be an added weapon to this team in the red zone. Give him the ball instead of Brian Robinson. Just so many times that Robinson was getting stuffed for half a yard, 1 yard. And again, I'm not saying he was blocked up nicely, but I feel like, Rodriguez was getting at least 2 yards every single time. So maybe I'm being too harsh on Robinson. I still like him. He's a good, seems like a good guy, good teammate, and good player at times. But I think it's clear the Commanders need another running back unless Chris Rodriguez, with an extended sample size, plays like he is right now, because he has had some good games. If you look at it, I believe the Steelers game was pretty good. Let's go to the game log here. The Steelers game was good, 1 touchdown, or sorry, not Steelers game. The Titans game was good, 13 rushes, 94 yards, and a touchdown, and then had a long of 25 yards, and then had a nice game against the Giants, 11 carries, 52 yards. So has 35 carries for 173 yards on the year, 5 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns, and then that 1 target on the whole season, but it was a 12-yard catch in overtime. And the fact that they were giving him the ball in overtime in terms of, as the pass catching back over McNichols and Robinson says a lot. Maybe not. I think McNichols was on the field too, and he was getting some, targets for sure. But I don't know. I think we could start to see the momentum shift with Robinson and, giving Chris Rodriguez more carries. And, it's not like he was an undrafted free agent. Like, he was a 6th-round pick. Out of Kentucky. I was excited about him just because, Eric Bieniemy, as much as he wasn't a good coach, he has done a pretty good job in the past of drafting running backs and being able to pick guys that do well, like he did with Isaiah Pacheco, and I believe he was a 5th-round pick. So I thought Chris Rodriguez would have more of an impact, and this year we're starting to see it a little bit more on an actual good team. Like last year, he was getting some PT at the end of the year, but it was a lot of play. It just, he was playing well, but I'm just saying meaningless football. But when you're doing this in big moments, getting a touchdown in a win and get in type of game, I mean, they still would have had the Cowboys game, but I think that's huge, and I think he could be an added weapon to this offense on short yardage situations. Give him the ball instead of Robinson, and honestly, again, like I said, just start giving him the ball more in general, because he is doing really well when he does get the ball and getting a lot of yards after contact, like this stat right here has been showing. Brandon here said maybe it's time to make Chris Rodriguez RB1. And yeah, I think I agree with this assessment. He was on the practice squad this year. He's earned his way back onto the roster, and he should never get cut again by the Commanders. I think next year you got to find a way to keep him on the squad. And when Eckler comes back, I'm sorry, you have to find a way to keep Chris Rodriguez on the squad. He is a contributor. And it's tough because McNichols is a contributor too. Like, as much as you like to say maybe, you keep Chris, you keep Brian, you keep Eckler, and then on game day you have McNichols inactive, but he is a contributor. So honestly, I mean, with Eckler, he's less of a contributor, but still, he does make big plays. He had, a carry for 5 yards. In the Eagles game, he had the 2-point conversion. Last night, he also had the 4th down conversion as well. Like, he does make big plays, and he is a solid player. So it's hard to make him inactive. Maybe you can make all 4 of them active. That's fine. But yeah, I think Chris Rodriguez is, an added part to this offense since he's been added back to the squad. I think you got to give him more touches, and not necessarily saying have him as the RB1, but just feed the hot hand. You have 4 capable running backs. Once Eckler goes back, you have 4 capable running backs. And they're different, skill sets. McNichols and Eckler are more, similar to each other, and then Robinson and Rodriguez. So just feed the hot hand. If Rodriguez is doing well, keep giving him the ball. If Robinson's doing well, keep giving him the ball as well. But it's good to see Chris Rodriguez, succeed after getting cut. And yeah, it's a really good story. So I hope it continues, and I hope they continue to give him the ball, and we'll see if he can become a secret weapon for them. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.